Hi everyone, Emma here. I'm so excited to show you this bracelet that I'm making for my brother-in-law. So the idea was I wanted to make a nautical themed bracelet, leather bracelet, and let's enlarge this. Using this incredible slider that I got from AliExpress. These are stainless steel. They are absolutely gorgeous. This is what they look like. But as you can see now, I did put a piece of leather in there, and I'm going to take that out just to show you. So the idea was I needed to put a few layers of leather together to get the thickness. Now, this is maybe my fourth or fifth project with leather. So I am not an expert by any means. This is just playing with it and having an idea and going with it. So let me show you what I had planned on doing. So this is super easy to get out. I haven't glued it in or anything. So it's just a this was like a piece of scrap leather. And I had thought about using this leather in particular, which is actually this. Now I have stained it a tan color. So of course it's already a dark tan, and then I stained it. So this is the color that I got from it. And I use the same to put on the edges. It definitely darkens it a bit on the edges, which is what I wanted. I wanted to give it a kind of like a worn feeling. So yeah, so I glued it together. That's what I came up with. And I'm just noticing now, of course, I haven't really looked at, I'm noticing how these stitches look a bit off, but of course you're not going to see this. It's going to be on the person's wrist, but so that's interesting. I did know that my cuts were crooked, as you can see, and as I was doing the edge, it compressed in certain areas as well and kind of emphasized those awkward cuts. But I'll tell you, it was super hard to cut this stuff because look at how thick it is, and it's got this kind of, you know, fuzzy stuff, so it's really easily compressed. One of the things I notice in watching videos is if they're making a bracelet this size, they cut like this much leather, and I'm such a penny pincher. I'm like, I'm cutting it maybe, uh, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch on each side. And of course, this is what happens, right? You really do need extra width for it. But anyway, it's turning out pretty nice. So the idea was to take this and slide it on. So that's why I stopped here, because I think I wanted to see where I needed to go to have this sit in the middle. So it would be like this with this lovely stitch through the middle and attach like that. So I have this closure, and then I put the hole, and it fits nicely on top. Just, I hope it stays in place. I did have to make a cut here, which is normal for these type of things, but now I'm thinking I may have cut it too far because it's just, but I think it will stay on. Yeah, so, but as you can see, this moves around a bit, and I don't have a lot of space left. If you look, actually there is quite a bit, but not enough. It might just, but if I did the whole thing in that, it would be too thick for the bracelet itself. Like as it is, this is pretty thick. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to put this, and I put it in this way because once I finish stitching all of this, I am going to add some glue to this piece here. And you can just, I just used my, let me see if I have one here. Yeah, I don't know where it's on the other desk. I have a tool with those like daughters that you use for doing nail art. So I just use that to get that in snug. I don't, because it's snug, I don't think it needs any glue on the other side. But then once I put this on, I would probably get this to about there, then add the glue here, and then slide it on to there, and it should stay snug this way, like that, something like that. So I just wanted to show you some more stitching. I think I'm trying to figure out which way to do this so that you can see what I'm doing. And yeah, I think I figured out a few things. So first of all, the needles. So these were the Glover needles. I thought I needed Glover needles, and I still have to look this up. I did see a couple of videos, but I didn't have the audio on. Sometimes I sneak and watch it while we're supposed to be watching TV together. As if she doesn't notice I have my tablet. Sometimes she'll turn to me and she'll say, "Are we watching this movie or are you beating?" So sometimes I watch videos without the audio. Anyway, I thought I needed Glover needles. Glover needles have a diamond point so that you can puncture through the leather. Because I have the holes already in there, I really don't need to puncture the leather, although you can see how even though I went through the back with the I forget what I call them, the prongs that make the holes. Um, I really don't need this like puncture needle, and I found it was really hard to maneuver with these really short needles. And so when I did look at the videos, I did see that people had longer needles. So whether Glover needles come in a longer length or not. So I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna grab, I know I have embroidery needles, so the eye's big enough to get through the thread. And actually, these were in a cheap package of needles, and it's calling them sewing needles. They do have a point to them. So embroidery needles are rounded. So these are definitely sewing needles, but you can see the length difference in. So I should be able to get these through a lot easier. And I don't know. They feel about the same diameter across, so we'll take a look. So let's see if we can get this on camera. I think what I'm going to do is do it from above. So let's put this in, bring you to my work here, and apologize for my dirty desk. I use this to paint on, and when I was using it, I thought I should cover that so I don't get any paint on it, and that was the last time I thought about that. So I am going to put it in this way, and this is kind of hard too. You can see how close it is. Let me see if I can get some light on here. You can see how close it is, just the design idea. So, and I did try and put the open holes further forward, but it moves around too much. You really do need something secure to hold it in place. But hopefully you can see some of what I'm doing. You know what? I have this backwards. I want to start the hole through this side. Let me see if I can do it this way. I might have to, all I have to do is flip it, I guess. So let's start with this one. So this is the front side here, and the holes are definitely more pronounced on this side. So this looks pretty good. And my lamp is in my way here. Let's see if I can fix this so I can see what I'm doing. So I should be able to pull that through. So this is how, let me bring this out a bit. This is how you should be grabbing your needles, and then grab your thread here. So you're basically holding this taut so that it pulls it away from the hole. So now you can get your needle in and you can avoid puncturing your thread. So that was the other thing with the Glover needles is it was puncturing the thread too much. So pull that through. And then keep going. So today's Good Friday, I have to tell you. When we were kids, we were not allowed, well, first of all, we were not allowed to eat meat on Good Friday. And I'm trying to think, when we were teenagers, I think, you know, like some of the adult kids were grown up and on their own. So, you know, my mom didn't have to worry about cooking as much. So we often had takeout of fish and chips. So, of course, the fish and chip stores are busy. Just check to make sure my stitch looks good. Good. So, that's amazing. Let's see. Oh, I have to tell you too, so funny. So if you look at this, it's got this clamp here, but it also has this, I think the idea is to avoid your leg getting banged up against this and maybe opening the clamp. So it's got this. I had bruises on my inner thigh from using it. Oh, I gotta put some cushioning on it. Or not press so hard. So yeah, the other thing, so just to let you know, we were raised Catholic, and my mom used to. We weren't allowed to use electricity, so we sat around in the dark, and we weren't allowed to like talk or play games or anything like that. And so, needless to say, we were not happy as teenagers. And I mean, as it was, we had a tiny, maybe a 15-inch colored TV that had maybe 3 channels. So there wasn't a lot to watch. So when there was something to watch, we wanted to watch it. I'm totally dating myself here. We wanted to watch the Bay City Rollers in concert, and my mom wouldn't let us because it was Good Friday. And we were like, you know, as teenagers, you're always questioning stuff. So we're like, why do we have to sit in the dark? Or why can't we watch the Bay City Rollers? And she's like, well, just imagine that your father died and you're mourning. You would be very sad, sitting quietly in the dark. me and Sylvia are looking at each other like, okay, yeah, we're not buying it. Whatever you're selling, we're not buying it. But so that one time that the Bay City Rollers were playing, they invited the neighbors over that evening to play cards. So we're sitting on the couch, pouting, no TV, and they're playing cards, and me and Sylvia are like talking, going, this doesn't make any sense. How come they're allowed to play cards and we can't even watch TV? I'm sure if Daddy died, he'd be upset they're playing cards. So finally, we're like, let's ask. Because they were like laughing and carrying on and stuff. So finally, my mom said it was okay. It's like, ugh. But yeah. And then when we were in high school, we had what they called a starve-a-thon. So you'd raise money, like get sponsors, and you had to not eat I want to say for 24 hours, but it couldn't have been 24 hours. It must have been something like 12 hours because we slept over at the school in sleeping bags in the gymnasium, and they had like juice, I think, in the cafeteria, and then they had like a TV with I'm I'm guessing a VHS because they had the Ten Commandments. Oh my gosh, I think I know that movie by heart. And oh, and then games in the gymnasium, so we played basketball and stuff like that. And yeah, it was like a big slumber party. It was an all girls school, so it was all girls, right? But but it was funny. So we would go out for breakfast after Sylvia and I with our friends, and I can remember. So I have bipolar disorder, if you didn't know. And I can remember, so something like that, like staying up all night, would be enough to get me into a manic phase. So I remember at the restaurant, we were joking and carrying on. We had people in the restaurant laughing and stuff like that. Like we were just, and here we are with our sleeping bags at the restaurant. Oh, it's too funny. But yeah. So, what's your tradition for Good Friday? I I used to, still observe it and stuff, but I think now it's just there's other things that are more important in the sense of community and helping people and stuff like that. So I don't focus on the actual traditions that were in my mind didn't have a reason. So I'm still a teenager at heart. Why? I don't understand. Explain it to me. I used to always argue with my mom about going to church. I think like she used to send us to church. Like I'm trying to think when she stopped going to church on Sundays. She used to go Saturday night. We had a church that was like one street over from us. So it like there was no excuse not to go. But anyway, she would go the Saturday night mass and we would go Sunday morning. And yeah. So as a teenager, I think at one point I realized she can tell me to go, but I don't have to. What's she gonna do? Lock me in my room? So oh, I think I punctured one here, if you can see. So let's get this out. See if I can get this through the hole. I gotta pay more attention. That would suck if I got, and I can feel it. I was gonna say that would suck if I got it, punctured it again. So let me see if I can pull this a little to get it out. Maybe get it out backwards. It's coming. She's coming. There we go. Look at that. Okay. And it doesn't seem like it. I wonder if I punctured it onto itself. So let me just extend this. I definitely feel like if this area here is not close to there, then you don't get a whole bunch of thread. So then you can, okay, so this has got to go, let me just pull this one. There. And then through the next hole. So let's pull these away from the hole so I can get through. Yeah, look at that. So you can, I have the a little jar of the silicone that you can dip your tools into. So if you're wondering about that, I got it at Michael's. I think it was $10. And it goes a long way. I do have a video showing you how to do it. I mean, I basically just took them, opened them this way, and dipped it in. Now I had it somewhere, like the stuff is, the silicone is really thick, so I had something to put my tools on to let this dry. Otherwise, I mean, you got to stand there and hold it. It doesn't take long to dry, although I did let these dry overnight, and you can actually double dip it as well, but I would definitely let it dry overnight because you can see how it comes away from the metal. So you want to make sure that it's on there well. So let's see if I can pull that through. This is how you're supposed to do it. That, and then pull this one through, but clearly I have issues with it going through this way, and it's probably because I have it going the opposite way. I should have it flipped. Let me see if I can do that. I need to move it up anyway, so we're gonna open the clamp, pull that out. I'm wondering if I flip it this way, yeah, then I'm going the correct way. Then I'll get this here and move that up. There. So now I have the front on this side, which is my right hand. So if you're doing, like I was kind of doing it left-handed, so now this should work better. Because then my stronger hand will pull the needle through. Like that. That makes more sense. I do see how the thread is, it's not down. Although that went a lot better, so let me see if I can extend this to there. Might go through easier. The other side's done the same. So let's bring this up. So my sister sent me, she sent me a care package, an Easter care package. Oh my gosh. She makes my mother's recipe for butter tarts, and they were incredible. So I went off keto. Oh, there we go. I went off keto for the day. Oh, that was so amazing. She sent us all kinds of goodies. She spoils me. Let's get this through. Okay, that's... So this is the part too, I find. Like, this area here, you're not going to see, it's not a big deal, but you can see how my needle scratches. Although you can fix that up. This is not where I want it here. Let me pull it. It's not coming through the other side, that's why I'm... There we go. We had massage yesterday. So for the last 20 years, we've been going to the massage school for sports medicine massage. And the company was bought out by another company, and I guess this school, their enrollment has been lower and lower, so I'm guessing this is what happened. So they're closing the school in May, and we're gonna have to find someplace else to go for massage. Does that sound like a princess problem to you? Yes, I am a princess. But we work out so much that we absolutely need the massage. This is still awkward for me, so I'm gonna see the hole. We're gonna have to find, there is 2 more schools in the area, but of course the price of the massage, because we were in the sports clinic, it was cheaper. But again, princess problems. I'm gonna pull that through and then pull these guys. Did that go through? No. There. It's looking pretty good. So like I said, the other side looks pretty sketch. I'm shocked because normally it doesn't. But to me, I think that just proves like that second layer moved around, and it could have, because I had the 2 pieces glued together and then tried to get through. So you've got a big distance to go through, and if that second layer moves at all, your holes are going to move. So, but like, I think if I were to do this again, I might leave the 2 layers separate and attach it, like prick the holes on each piece of leather, then put it together. And you can do that by just taking a needle and lining up the holes. So that they do have tools that you can use that will hold it together. So you line up your holes. Today is my rest day. Jen's gone to the gym. I have been getting chest pain, back pain, and arm pain. So I decided that I was not going to go today. And I'm shocked. I'm sitting here and I'm getting chest pain. I'm like, what the heck? I do find that the day after a workout, I get chest pain now. We didn't work out yesterday, but the day before, I had some pretty significant chest pain. Still waiting for the referral to come through for the cardiologist and the internal medicine. But if it gets bad, we're only 10 minutes away from the hospital. So, depending on what happens, Jen can either drive me or we can call an ambulance and they'll be here pretty quick. I remember, so we've had issues with healthcare, and I remember one time I was talking at a party for our swim team, and I said something about, you're best to call an ambulance if you're injured because you'll get served faster. One of the ladies from our swim team, actually, she was like a director of the ambulance. She's like, that's not true. And she's like going on about it, right? She's like, it goes by who's in line first and then they triage and da 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 like this, right? I'm like, give me a break. I'm a nurse. I know darn well somebody comes in on a stretcher, we're going to assess them right away. I've been to the ER and you take a number and you sit there for a while before you get assessed. But, so yeah, I definitely, I think something like this. And the other thing too is the ambulance attendants have skills so they can administer stuff if you need it. And one of the things I was thinking about was I fell. This was about 11 years ago, I guess, because I saw the sports medicine specialist for it. So I felt it was after a bike ride, and I ended up in the splits and then fell forward on top of my legs. So I tore my hamstring at both spots, behind the knee and in the groin. And Jennifer tried to pick me up to put me in the car, and she couldn't. The leg was kind of bent, and if I tried to straighten it out, it was incredible pain. So this was funny. She ended up getting the neighbor to help, and they couldn't get me to stand up, or to, like, they couldn't, like, if they were to pick me up, they had to keep the leg bent kind of thing. So she's like, do you want me to call an ambulance, right? And I'm like, no, they're going to try and straighten out the leg. I didn't realize they'd have some medication to give me for the pain, right? But anyway, they put me in a wheelbarrow and took me, and they made me sit in these stupid plastic chairs for like hours before I saw anybody. And then they sent me home. I still couldn't straighten out the leg. And when we were leaving, I said, I have to go pee. So Jen tried to put me on the, we have to do a back stitch here. So Jen took me to the bathroom and she tried to put me on the toilet again because the leg, I couldn't straighten it. She couldn't do it. So she went and got the nurse. And so the nurse and her couldn't help me. That's how bad it was. And they sent me home, and we have like our bathrooms on the second floor. So for a year, this is how bad it was. For a year, I guess for a year I couldn't sit on a chair. We couldn't go out to dinner. We couldn't go to the movie theater because I couldn't straighten the leg. And for the first however long, I can't remember now, like maybe a month or two, she had to carry me upstairs to use the bathroom and hold me over the toilet because I couldn't sit. It was so painful. And I was on like heavy duty morphine and stuff like that. It was crazy. But I thought about it and I thought, had I called the ambulance and they would have been able to give me something right away and maybe things wouldn't have been as bad, I would have got taken care of, whatever. But who knows? So since then, we always say, we kind of strategize how we're going to approach this. So I have this one at the front. I'm going to bring it through so that it's at the back, like that. And I could essentially burn this one, but I kind of want to, I think what I might do is weave it into these two stitches. So come back this way, like this. I don't know if that's if we're, I don't know if I'm supposed to do that or not, but I'm doing it. Because it's going to be on the bottom, you're not going to see it. So then we'll cut that and we will burn them. And let's see, my lighter. I got my special lighters for that. We were talking about, I don't like lighters for this thing, but we're gonna do it. And I don't want to burn the other threads. That's not bad. So let's see what we got here. Okay, so this is sticking out a bit. Let me get my awl and just try and get that nicely in there. And I'm going to need my glue. So his birthday is April 4th. No, sorry, April 3rd. Jen's is April 4th. Let's bring this down here. So this is the tool I was talking about. You can get these on Amazon. They come in sets with the different size little beady things on the side. Now, I don't want to compress this too much because I definitely want this to adhere to the bracelet so that it keeps this in place. So that's the other thing. I need to measure this. I was wondering why I had my ruler out. There's a reason for everything. So let's get the ruler here. And I'm gonna measure from past the closure. So I'll start it about there, and I'm not gonna measure this whole thing. So actually I think I had it at 18, which means 9 is the middle. So we need 2 on each side, so about there. And so we're going to put some glue on here. I'm always nervous about the glue situation. I think if I put glue from the 9 over to 2, and then when we slide it on, it will slide over. That might work. Okay, so this is the glue. I got this at Michael's, and you know what? When the first time I used it, I thought, this looks like basic carpenter's glue or craft glue. So I thought, you know, why would I pay extra? I'll tell you what, it works amazing. I got a piece together, like 2 pieces of leather, and I wanted to pull it apart. Actually, it was on this. So I glued the 2 pieces together, and then I realized for this piece here, there's a little screw that attaches this piece onto it. Normally, it comes out of the other side of the leather, but because the screw is so short, and this leather was so thick, there was no way it was going to go all the way through. So I had to try and open this up, and it was glued so well I couldn't get it open. So I had to take a skiving knife or like a razor blade, and I made a slit through so I could get the screw in there and then glued it back. So definitely amazing glue. So let's put this back on there, and there's the 9 mark. So we're gonna go, I'll keep my finger at the 9. We're gonna go, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches on this side. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You don't need a lot of glue, this stuff. And here's the other thing, I probably should have roughed up the leather, but I'm just gonna do it this way. That should do it. I'm gonna put the excess on the stitches a bit here. I want to make sure this stays. It's nothing more annoying. You have like a centerpiece that it's not supposed to move, and it's moving all the time. So let's get this guy on. Now I get that piece of leather back in there. Okay, I wasn't anticipating that. You know what? I should have glued it. Here's the other thing with glue is for leather especially, is they suggest you let it dry a bit so it gets tacky. Just gonna, okay, so let's put that aside. And let's glue this in. I'm gonna put the glue in here. Let's not mess around with this. There, there. And that in there. Okay. I think I need some more glue. That looks like way too, yeah, it's way too dry. To do it like this. So I'm gonna try, when we get closer here, I'm gonna try and get this down a bit so that it just doesn't scrape the glue across. Oh, that worked. Oh, look at that. Oh, good. I'm just gonna, now that's, where's my ruler? I knew I put the ruler away too soon because I want to make sure that it's in the right spot. It's, yeah, it's in the right spot. Sweet. That is, I'm so excited. So I wanted to mail this to him right away so that he'd get it for his birthday. So I was working on this yesterday so that he would get it. Wow. Okay, this is lovely. He's gonna love it. This is cool. So let me put it on and see what that looks like on. So he has a bigger wrist, so that's good. Oh, this is lovely. Oh, very nice. So thanks for joining me on Good Friday with my chatting and bracelet making. This lovely bracelet for my brother-in-law, Peter. Happy birthday, Peter. Take care, everybody. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.